Tell me what your life was like before you died.
It started with a lump on my, literally on my shoulder, like between my neck and my shoulder. So I went to have it checked out, and they did a biopsy, and it was diagnosed as lymphatic cancer. At that time, it was staged as a stage 2. And then over the years, so the thing is, what was going on for me at that time was that my 2 people very close to me in my life and the same age as me both had cancer. Both of them were dying of cancer. They had both had terminal cancer. They were dying of cancer. One of them was my best friend, who's as close to me as a sister. We grew up together. So it was a shock when she was diagnosed. And then my husband's brother-in-law, also the same age as me, was diagnosed. And so both of them were having the best or most expensive treatments that money can buy in the best cancer hospitals. One of them, we were living in Hong Kong. One of them was being treated in the best cancer hospital in New York, and the other one in the best cancer hospital in Hong Kong. But both of them continued to deteriorate. And from my perspective, it looked like every time they had a treatment, they were getting worse. So when I was diagnosed, and the only option I was given was the same treatment they were given, you know, the chemo, the radiation, I was like, no, I don't want that. I'm going to take my chances with natural treatments, because I am seeing these 2 people very close to me are deteriorating and dying, and they're having the best treatment that money can buy in the world. So I did opt for natural therapies. But interestingly, I would get better and then I would get worse. I would get better and I would get worse. And I went through this over a period of 4 years. And I reached a point where I started to really deteriorate, because it started when a doctor told me that I needed to get some scans to get real about where it's at. I was being treated by an Ayurvedic doctor in India, and I was actually feeling a lot better. And the doctor was telling me I was getting a lot better. And so I was feeling so much better. I looked better. Everybody said I was better. And then I fell into, again, with people telling me, oh, you need to get scans from a real doctor. You need to go to a real doctor. I went to a Western doctor who did the scans and said that I was being foolish going to the Eastern doctors and everything. He told me, you only have 3 months to live at this rate. And after I heard that, my health deteriorated dramatically, like dramatically. My body stopped absorbing nutrition. I lost my appetite. My muscles started to deteriorate. Lungs were filled with fluid. I just deteriorated. I got worse and worse and worse very rapidly. And then on the morning of February the 2nd, 2006, I didn't wake up. I was in a coma, and my husband was freaking out. He rushed me to the hospital, and the doctors said, this is it. She's not coming out. She's dying. But unbeknownst to everybody around me, I had left my body. My spirit, my soul, whatever we want to call it, had actually left my body. And I was feeling incredible and light and free. Oh, and I also want to add one more thing, is that at this point where I was at, where I went to the doctor and everything, at this point, the doctor actually said that whatever we have, the chemo and everything that we have, will no longer work for you. It's too late. That's what the doctors said. They said, you know, we can throw everything at it, but it's too late. It's not going to save your life. They even said that. I was aware, for example, that my husband was rushing me to the hospital when I didn't wake up. That was when he rushed me. He called the doctor. The doctor said, bring her to the hospital. I was aware of everything that was going on around me. My husband being frantic, rushing me to the hospital, my family being there, my brother, my mom, they were all there. They were all told that these were my final hours and that I was dying and I wasn't going to come out of the coma. So I was aware of everything that was happening around me, but I was also aware that to them, I was not there, like nobody was home. I was gone, and I was aware of that. And it was when I was in the hospital that I started to realize, oh, I'm not just in my body, I'm more than my body. And it felt like I was expanding outside of my body. And I started to become aware of things like what the nurses were doing, what the doctors were doing, and And I was aware of things that were happening outside the room and the conversations they were having. I was hearing and watching the conversations between my doctor and my husband. And I saw and heard the doctor tell my husband that, oh, she's not even going to make it, you know, that she's not even going to make it through tonight. And these are her final hours. And I watched him say that. And then I felt myself continue to expand, though, beyond the hospital. And the next thing I remember is that I entered what I call like a state of clarity. But in this state, I was surrounded by other beings that were not on this world. So I started to lose the awareness of the physical, of the people that were physically around me, and started to gain awareness of people that were non-physical that were around me. And some of them I recognized as being people I knew in this life. One of them was my best friend who had passed from cancer. She'd passed 2 years prior, and she was there to greet me. Another one was my dad, who had passed 10 years prior. I'd always felt I'd let my dad down and we'd always clash, and that he was disappointed in me. But here in this other realm, all I felt from him was pure, unconditional love, just love. And it felt like we don't have physical, biological bodies. We don't have vocal cords. We don't have eyes. So it's a very different type of perception, and it's pure awareness. So my dad didn't have to speak to me. It was, I knew what he wanted me to know. It was like his energy and my energy just merged together, and I knew everything. So what happens is you see them, but not with physical eyes. It's like you know that their physical body is not there, but my awareness was able to have images of who that is. So I would get images of my dad as I knew him in this physical life, but he wasn't physical. It was just his essence. And one of the things I realized is that when we cross over, not only do we leave behind our physical bodies, but we also leave behind our gender, our race, our culture, our religion, our beliefs. And that's when I realized that the only thing that crosses over is our pure essence. And our pure essence is, I would call it pure love, or pure God, or pure source energy, or pure consciousness. We can call it whatever we want, but it's pure essence. And so here I was with my dad's pure essence and my pure essence, and it was like we could just merge, so I could understand him and he could understand me. And I understood that just as I had always believed I was a victim of my culture, he was a victim of this same culture and just doing the best he could within the culture. So when I would focus on my husband from this life, Danny, when I'd focus on him, I would see other lives that I've had with him. I would see the potential future I have. So the space would be filled with other time and places that I have encountered with this person. It was very abstract and esoteric. And so my brother was there. My brother had flown down from India to get to me before I passed. And I remember as soon as I put my awareness on my brother, I felt, oh, I can't die just yet. And I immediately saw a lifetime, and this is what was in front of me, a lifetime of him and me together, where I was much older than him. He's older than me in this life, but I saw a lifetime of him and me together where I was much older than him, and I was very protective of him. And it's true that even in this lifetime, even though he's older, I feel protective of him. So when my awareness was on my husband, Danny, I was immediately aware of a scene in my future of this life, which hadn't panned out yet, of Danny and I fulfilling a purpose together. And I understood that we still had work to do together here, and I hadn't fulfilled it yet. And that if I didn't come back to fulfill it, if I crossed over, he wouldn't be able to fulfill his side of the purpose. And this is why I often say that time is not linear on the other side, because I could access the future, I could access the past, I could access any life that pertained to my experiences right here. So it's sort of like my experiences here in this physical life, it feeds into that narrative, that total narrative of who my soul is. My soul has this journey that's experienced multiple lives, but my soul has access to this holodeck of all the lives and all the experiences to allow it to inform this current life, for want of a better way of saying it. But this experience changed my view on karma. It changed my view on everything, on spirituality, or what it means to be spiritual, on religion, on karma, on everything, because I thought of karma as straightforward. You know, it's like you do something bad, you pay it back. And so when I was going through the cancer and it wasn't healing, I've had people, even spiritual gurus, tell me it's your karma, you need to do more good work. And when I crossed over, I realized it wasn't my karma, you know. So I was somebody prior to the near-death experience who was very much a people pleaser. You know, I was always taught to serve other people, to be subservient, to be groomed to be a good wife to a husband someday. So when I was told that it's because of your karma, there's something in your karma that you have to clean up, and that's why you have cancer. So there where I was already a people pleaser, a doormat and everything, and now being told, oh, I need to do more good work. And so that made me even more of a people pleaser, martyr, charitable, so much so that I was, you know, practically like prostrating myself for anybody to walk over me, because I did not want to contribute to the bad karma that was feeding the cancer that was not healing. I realized was that it was the complete opposite. I was meant to express myself fully, not suppress myself. I was meant to come here and be a full expression of this soul that chose to come into this body. And the fact that we believe that we constantly have to work at being good means our fundamental belief about ourselves is that we're not good, we're bad, we need to work on ourselves. That is actually the flaw, the belief that we're not good. We really have to know that, hey, my soul is amazing, my soul is a facet of God. So basically, what I learned is that each one of us is a facet of God or love or pure consciousness expressing itself through this body. The body is kind of fighting back. Your soul is fighting back. And so when I learned that I'm much more powerful than I thought, I'm an expression of God, that's when I made the decision to come back into my body. And then I had this message, it was actually my dad, that now that you know the truth of who you really are and who you're meant to be, your body will heal very, very dramatically. So my version of it is that we definitely choose to come here. But the way it felt for me is that my soul chose to come here, and my soul had an intention. So it comes with an intention. And this addresses, you know, what is free will and what is destiny. So for me, destiny is not written in stone. Following your destiny means following the intention of your soul. What did my soul plan to come here to accomplish and achieve and do and be? And how did my soul plan to come and change the world and be of service and so on? And so you come with this intention, but while we're here, we sometimes get knocked off the rails. We get derailed. Our things we learn, things we teach, we lose our way. And in my case, I've forgotten, we all forget along the way. In my case, I completely repressed who I am to the point where my soul was fighting back by giving me symptoms and wake-up calls in my body that this is not who you are. So the intention is what I call the destiny, and we can choose to follow that intention or not, and that is our free will. You can get your lessons even from between your lives, or even from having experienced something, doing something horrible to somebody. You don't need to have it done back to you. You don't have to work at being good. You are already spiritual. You were born spiritual. Just let that spirit shine. God is the infinite energy that runs through all of us, the infinite energy. And I sometimes call God the infinite net, because we are all a part of God. We're all a facet of God. It's like, sometimes I'll use the analogy of a mirror ball. And if you think of a mirror ball and imagine there's billions and billions of little mirror tiles instead of just a few. And imagine if each of those mirror tiles is one of us. And we're all connected to make this bright, shiny ball. And that is God, because we're all connected. It can come from anybody's soul.